How many of you ever didn't have an exact address, but you knew the area of town?
Yeah.
So you was like, I don't have time. Send me the address. I'm gonna start heading that way.
Okay.
That's what that is equivalent to, as opposed to saying, I'm gonna wait at home until you send me the address. Hey, but I know it's 30 minutes away and it's 35 minutes before you're supposed to be there. Well, I'm just gonna wait. No, head that way.
But I did. Okay.
The same thing. And my apologies for any confusion that was there. But did anyone attempt to give it a shot? Yeah, Ms. Naive, why don't you tell me a little bit about what you did?
Well, I found myself having to go into Microsoft Word and just furiously type out how I felt. And this is the KRAs for relationship with the self, correct? Mm-hmm. So I touched on very traumatic incident that happened in December too, back to back with friends. Yeah. And I had to address how I always thought I was authentic and honest with myself and with other people. But, you know, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen all the time unless I'm feeling a strange vibe in the space I'm in, pretty much. Okay, but I felt in those relationships how I had to set up boundaries, remain in self-awareness so that it's really difficult to talk about. I don't want to.
You don't have to go into it at all.
I don't want to. I'm not going to go into it because even as I wrote it down, I didn't go into names and things like that. Right. I just talked about how I felt, and when you're in a relationship with someone, and you have this going back and forth, and you want to be heard, but yet you want to have empathy toward the other person and hear them and relate to them. But then you realize, wait a minute, what you heard wasn't what I said. And I'm trying to be myself with you, but yet I feel like you're rejecting who I am and what I'm saying. So I realized I had to put up those boundaries, stay disciplined, stay myself, and stay within the vision of who I am presently and who I want to be, and not let those relationships and what happened during those phone calls change myself.
And this is an example of you utilizing properly the KRAs in your relationships with others. Is that what I'm hearing? Putting up those boundaries, staying authentic, right? Being self-aware of what is your responsibility and what isn't, right? Not owning somebody else's stuff. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, one of the things in relationships we have to, I know for me, as I started questioning, you know, you want to be validated, but yet you want to validate that other person as well. When it's not reciprocated, what do you do? And I decided in one of those relationships to just let it go. And in the other relationship, I reached out again because I cared so much. But still, that person did not want to hear what I had to say.
And as tough as it is, let me congratulate you on being committed to your boundaries. That's the thing about boundaries. People want to put them up, but we don't want to enforce them. And I was checked hard on that in a relationship I was in. And my therapist, I was like, hey, I was so clear. This is not okay. I'm a communicator. I'm a communicator. I'm a communicator. And I said it. I was so proud. I'm always proud of my communication, my willingness to share my emotions and just be honest. And even in a relationship where we're stereotypically men aren't communicators, right? I'm a very much one. And she said, yeah, you communicated, but you didn't enforce it. So every time she stepped over the boundary, you just said it again. And you just said it again. And I was like, whoa, I was good at establishing boundaries, but I wasn't good at enforcing them. And the thing about a boundary is made to keep some things out. It keeps something out, and I wasn't doing a good job at that. And that was a hard check, because the whole time I was mad at her, but I had to take my own responsibility for that part in it, because I enabled bad behavior by not enforcing the boundary as well. So I commend you. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to enforce boundaries like that, and be willing to say, if it ain't, you heard me say, happy, healthy, safe. We all need happy, healthy, safe. Anybody not contributing to happy, healthy, safe, or they're endangering happy, healthy, safe, they gotta go, or they gotta change, or you gotta change. But we do not let that stay around like it's okay, right? The opposite of happy, healthy, safe is toxic. We don't let it stay. But sometimes it's hard to say, you know what? I'm more committed to happy, healthy, safe than I am to being around you. I want them to coexist, but if they can't, I got to choose happy, healthy, safe. Right? So enough respect. I know that's difficult. So thank you for sharing that. And once again, just another example, these KRAs, keep them in front of you. Keep them in front of you. Keep them in front of you to check yourself when you're going through thinking about your relationships with other people, right? Because other people will gaslight you. They'll act like they didn't do anything when they did. They'll also try to put guilt on you that you don't deserve by trying to make you feel like you did something you didn't do, making you feel bad. That happens all the time. Brother Robert, were you chiming in?
Yeah, I wanted to jump in and say, because I always like to bring it back to the deep dive part of what we're doing. The reason why this is so important and we're spending this time on these life KRAs is because everything we're doing is about life and business, no matter what the principle is. The principle here in this 8 weeks is procrastination. And there's plenty of us, not on this Zoom, but in the world, that are procrastinating on having conversations that we should have had 5 or 10 years ago. And we don't realize how that keeps us from moving forward in different areas of our life. It's a therapeutic situation, and it's procrastination. Procrastination is not just me not making a phone call. That's business. That's not life, right? What we don't understand is what spills into our business is our life procrastinations. So there are places that we're not going that we should go because there's conversation that we have not had with brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers and sons and daughters. It's some of us right here on this Zoom that have an issue that we never discussed with our own parent. And if we let them leave here and take that to their grave for the rest of our lives, we don't move forward in a particular place now, which causes what? Procrastination. So just so you guys are leading this back and y'all understand, these life KRAs, we're not taking you on a tangent because we don't have anything else to talk about, right? We're taking you down this road because we want you to understand that when you have these healing conversations, then you feel free enough to move forward into other things that you need to do in your life, whether it's life or business. And these things hold us back so long that we forget, they become unconscious, and we just don't move, and we don't even know why we're not moving anymore. So that's why we're calling it deep dive, so that we say, hey, let us figure out what's going on in there. And if you start releasing this stuff, then you're like, you know, I'm not really sure what happened. I had a breakthrough and now I'm moving forward, and you don't even know that that's what was holding you back.
That's real.
Yeah, good stuff.
That's real. Brent? Yeah, it'll weigh on your spirit. And at some point, Coach Dunbar, we need to do a training on having difficult conversations. Having how to initiate it, how to be firm without being aggressive, how to show care while creating boundaries, right? Those things can exist together. And I know it's not easy to do, but you know, to close out this portion, like I was saying, people will make you feel some kind of way. How do you know if they're trying to manipulate you or if they have a genuine a genuine point about your behavior towards them. Look through your KRAs and measure it. Go through step by step. Have I been this? Have I been this? Have I been this? Have I been this? Because I've had people act like they were mad at me, and I went through my checklist. I double checked with somebody else. Hey, am I tripping? Boom, 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 because I'm biased. Am I tripping? And I'm like, no, sound like you're pretty on point. Okay, you know what? That's not my issue then. That's not my issue, that's their issue, and I'm not gonna let it weigh me down. I love how Coach Dunbar brings it back to the procrastination, because procrastinating in those to have those tough conversations, that's sandbags for your air balloon. Every heavy relationship is another sandbag on your air balloon. And you're wondering why you're not rising. You got too many sandbags. You got too much baggage. And guess what? That same relationship was going to end anyway. Look, I found out the hard way. This is one of the coldest lessons I found out about relationships. And it's not just romantic relationships, but it's damn sure romantic relationships. Not just those. One of the biggest mistakes we make is staying too long. You can leave when you're supposed to, with integrity, or stay long enough to become the second villain in the story. All right. I can't even dive into that. I'm gonna have to let that one just sit on you. Brother Dunbar, I know you wanted to shoot a message over to him about the assignments, you know what I mean? But yeah, don't stay long enough to become a villain. To quote the great philosopher, Harvey Dent, either die a hero, you live long enough to become the villain. Let's give respect to Two-Face.
So I'm gonna say what all of them are feeling. I'm gonna say, if I'm gonna speak, though I got y'all back, he was wrong for bringing that up and not having a discussion about it. He was wrong, right? And me and Coach Man to talk about this all in the background, but we got to give y'all something else to come back for anyway. So that was not a fair statement to make it. Then say we'll talk about that at another time. That wasn't a. Oh my goodness. So what I wanted to mention before we move to the next set is transformation. These assignments are so important. They're just as important, or they could be more important. So I want you all to focus on this. Being here every week is really important. Well, you know what's more important? What you guys are doing in between. And the reason why I want you to look at just an exercise regimen, right? If you went and got a personal trainer and say, okay, I want to gain muscle, get ready for this competition, lose weight, whatever your deal was, I'm going to get a personal trainer. If that personal trainer was not also a nutritionist, if that personal trainer did not give you things to go home and do, if that personal trainer did not say you should eat a certain way, or then what that personal trainer did with you for an hour in a gym, 4 days a week, would not get you to your result. Does that make sense? Transformation is about the things that you do in between the sessions, not just what you do in the session. And that's so very important in a scenario like this, because this is not a regular lecture or training. Go, hey, guys, come here. We're going to show you how to goal set. Or come here, like we're just going to show you how to do something as a concept, and then, that's it. This is a scenario that we want you all to come out of this and say, okay, I made a drastic transformation in my life in this particular area because I took a course that showed me some things that I should do from the inside out. Is that fair? And in order for you to do that, the exercises that we have you doing in between sessions are important, because that would be the same way that personal trainer says, okay, I got you doing the right thing in the gym and I see you doing that. You're showing up and you're doing the exercises with me. But if you're eating too much, if you're eating the wrong things, if you're not getting enough rest, if you're not doing the things that personal trainer says do in between, now a personal trainer is saying, wait a minute, we're doing these things in the gym and I do this with clients every day. How come you're not changing? How come your body is not changing, but my other clients are? And it's because you're cheating in between sessions. Is that fair to say? So what I don't want you all to do with that is here. I want you all to look at the instructional video if you missed the training, or you can look back at it and do the exercise, because what you're doing on those worksheets is really transforming you from the inside out. We're just supporting it with the conversations that we have here. And this is why I clip the instructions and sing out the instructions only, so that y'all not forced to go through the whole hour video again just to hear that one part, because I know you guys are all busy. So I clip it and I just send the worksheet and the instructional video so y'all can do a quick look at the video and then do the exercise. And what you guys will realize is 8 or 10 weeks later, however long it takes in your particular world, you'll be like, you know what? I changed the way I'm doing something. I don't really know what happened there, but I changed. And you'll start to understand that the tangible things that you're doing day to day will put you in a position to say, okay, I'm on a different track, because you course corrected a little bit at a time. And that's how ships turn. That's how shuttles turn a little bit at a time. They don't just make a sharp turn. So we're not asking you to make a sharp turn. We're asking you guys to turn a little bit at a time while you're doing all the other things you have to do, so that you get better over a certain amount of time, not from this week to next week, everything has changed, but on an 8 to 10 week path, right? 90 days, you're making some different decisions. So with that being said, I'm turning back over to Coach Wrench.
No, brother, thank you. And I appreciate you diving into that, because that is what makes this different. If you want different results, you got to do a different kind of learning, right? And if it don't have you uncomfortable and questioning and wondering and thinking that you're wrong, then it's not getting you out your comfort zones. This is what getting out your comfort zone look like, feel like. It is uncomfortable. Remember, I asked y'all in the beginning, you want us to make you comfortable or make you better? Because we can only do one, right? We can only do one. And y'all stuck around and said better. How many of y'all change your mind now? Like, okay, I quit. I changed my mind. I changed my mind. So let's talk about the KRAs. Okay, we got a chance to dive into the KRAs for others, and we saw that, but we didn't get to spend as much time on the KRAs for self. Okay, and so let's take a look at that, and let's dive into that a little bit. Self-awareness, right? So we talked about the KRAs, and these are KRAs for relationships, right? KRAs for relationships. These are the L KRAs, those life KRAs, right? So we're talking about relationships, and we touched on relationships with others. Super important, right? We got to be aware of others, how we're engaging with others, people that we love and care about, to strangers. But how are we dealing with ourselves? And so often we do not even consider the relationship with ourselves. You have an interpersonal relationship with other people, but what about your intrapersonal relationship? That's that internal relationship, that relationship with you. You know what I mean? That's why I love the concept of metacognition, right? Cognition is how you think. Metacognition is the concept of thinking about how you think. So when you're thinking about and analyzing your own mindset and how you think and process information, that's metacognition. That is huge. Self-reflection is such a big deal, because the relationship you have with yourself resonates out into everything that you do, right? You got the golden rule, treat people how they want to be treated. You got the platinum rule, golden rule, treat people how you like to be treated. Platinum rule, treat people how they want to be treated. But the diamond rule, I like to call, is the way you treat yourself shows other people how to treat you. The way you treat yourself is an instruction manual on how you should be treated. If somebody see you being precious with your vehicle, then they will be more precious with your vehicle. They see you just swinging around, throwing stuff everywhere, then they'll do it too. That's how they know how to treat you. So however you treat and engage with yourself sets the tone for all other relationships, as well as how you feel about yourself. Let's dive in. Self-awareness. Self-awareness, once again, you notice that that's in the relationship with others as a key point, right? But it's also very important when we're talking about the relationship with yourself. You have to know how you're truly feeling about a situation, or you will move with the wrong premise. you'll move with the wrong premise. What if you are angry at somebody very close to you, right? You're angry and you express anger. They want to go do something that you think is stupid, and you express that, what is wrong with you? You know that doesn't make any sense. You do not need a motorcycle. No, you do not. And you're angry and you share that anger. But if you were truly self-aware, you would realize you're not angry, you're worried. You're worried. It's not anger, it's worry. But because you responded from a false premise, whenever you began from something not true, nothing can be true after it. Nothing can be true after it. That's why certain maths are so difficult, like statistics. If you got one piece of that early formula wrong, then everything is going to be wrong. Because that one little formula is a part of another formula, which is a part of a bigger formula, which you get what I'm saying. So what is your true feelings, and how are you honestly affecting other people, right? That is not for them. When we talked about it before, it was. Right now, it's for you. It's for you. Can you measure how you're dealing with other people? Because if they try to make you feel like you're dealing with them unfairly and you're not aware of all those pieces and regulating, then there's some people you could be manipulated. We want you to be warm and moving, but we also want you to be protected from manipulation. So that self-awareness is huge. Hope. And after this, you're going to rank yourself. How you feel, what's your numbers, right? On these things. Hope. Hope gives us reason. Hope is an engine. Hope drives us to go on to the next day. The lack of hope is depression. The lack of hope is depression. So it's not about just trying to avoid depression. It's about embracing hope. What do we mean by hope? Hope is the belief of better. Hope is the belief of better. I believe tomorrow is going to be better than yesterday. I believe good can exist. I believe it can get better, right? That's hope. That's hope. Hope is knowing there's something greater from where I'm at. It may be in a single concept. It may be in as far as how we see the world. It may just be as far as this job, right? Whatever the case may be, but hope. Hope gives us reason. Hope gives us purpose. Without it, why do it? And when I say it, I mean anything. How many of y'all ever lost hope for something and it just deflated you? You just didn't see a way out, a way up. You didn't see it changing. That leads to desperation. And that's how a lot of bad decisions could get made. Next, we have honesty. Being honest with ourselves. When we're talking about how we're feeling, what we're doing, we're measuring our own behavior, we're measuring ourselves, we're trying to be reflective. But if we're not honest, I can't tell you, that's the first thing I have to tell people I coach with. I need you to be honest. I need you to be honest, or I will be helping a caricature that doesn't exist. Right? I will be helping somebody that's not really you. You know what I think about? I think about social media and our society and our society's perspective on beauty and how we've created an environment and how so many people have embraced that they're not beautiful. So they have to literally go through mass transformations in order to be beautiful. They have to, in their mind, they have to take 2 hours to be beautiful because they didn't wake up beautiful in their mind. So they got to take 2 hours and do all these things to be beautiful and then get on Instagram or social media and put a filter on it. Put a filter on it. That's not honesty. And why is that important? It's important because now when someone falls in love with you, you have to keep that up in your mind. Because in your mind, they fell in love with the fabricated. That's who they thought was beautiful, not who the true you. And they may really think the true you is beautiful, but because that's not how it started. It didn't start with that honesty there. And I'm not saying don't do those things. I'm saying also be okay not doing those things. And know that you're beautiful that way as well. Not starting from that honesty can have cracks in the foundation of a new relationship, but it will also have cracks in how you feel about yourself. And this also is true for exaggeration, hyperbole, euphemisms, right? Now, I enjoy those. I enjoy euphemisms. I'd rather say it more positive than negative. Hyperbole, sometimes it's fun, right? If you're joking around, man, he had to be 6'10". It was crazy, right? You're telling a funny story or something like that. Those exaggerations are so obvious. That's an exaggeration. It's not like I'm trying to pass that off as a hard truth, right? But when we try to use exaggeration or hyperbole as truth, Jim Rohn said exaggeration is used when we don't believe the truth is good enough. Exaggeration is used when we don't believe the truth is good enough. So be honest with yourself. Be honest about the relationships that are toxic. I am not the only one on here who has avoided a particular angst, a particular issue with someone, because I knew if we started the conversation, the only outcome is going to be to end the relationship, is to do something about it. How many of you know if you address, go ahead and put me in the chat if you have been in a situation where you knew if you addressed an issue, you was going to have to do something about it. So you just didn't address it yet. You're like, I can't even do it. No, because if I say something, I'm going to have to see this thing through, and I'm not ready to yada, 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 right? So that's real. And I encourage you, it is never a wrong time to be 100. Would it be inconvenient? Of course, the truth is inconvenient. But there's a saying, see, when you don't move in truth, you're locked in because you're always worried about the truth showing up. You're always worried about the honest showing up. That's why it was this one book, I forget what it's called, but if it comes to me, I'll let you know. It said the truth will set you free. The truth could set you free. If the truth could set you free, if that is an honest statement, then the opposite must be true. That a lie could enslave you. If the truth will set you free, then the lie will enslave you. And exaggerations and all those things fall in that. So be careful. You don't want to enslave yourself. You don't want to confine yourself. Your vision. See, vision and hope work hand in hand. Your vision and the ability to visualize, to actually see something that doesn't exist. Who does that? That is incredible. That is a God, right? A God level, a God mimicked skill set, behavior, and ability. That's a creator. When you look at something blank and you see something that's not there, that is a wonderful thing. Do you see what's waiting for you? Can you borrow from the promises of tomorrow to enroll in the behaviors and disciplines of today? Can you visualize? Can you see what's down the line? Can you see what's on the other side of your GPS? You're trying to go to the store. Can you see the store? You know where you're going. You're not just in your you don't just get in the car, hit the GPS. Where would you like to go? Somewhere good. Is that what you put in the GPS? Somewhere fun. I want to eat. What do you want to eat? Something tasty. And sit back and your Tesla just take you, right? your AI, maybe with that new AI, they'll hook it up like that, you know? But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. We have to know where we're going. That is the vision. We have to have specifics. It's the hope that the vision can be true that allows us to do the thing to get to the vision. The vision is the promise, but it's the hope that's the driver. The hope is the driver. The vision, that's the destination. The hope is the gas in the car to get you to the destination. The car, that's the hardware. That's your skill set, your disciplines, what you're learning right now. This is how life and business GPS gets you from here to here. But you got to have that in you. We have to strengthen that vision muscle, right? Being able to explain the vision, what's waiting for us to your spouse, right? To your children, to your family, to your team. Really breaking that vision down and then instilling the hope that it's possible. Paint the vision, make it possible. Your belief in yourself, oh my, your belief in you plays such a huge role in your relationship with you. If you don't believe in yourself, how does it feel when, put in the chat how it feels when someone doesn't believe in you? When you realize someone does not believe in you, how does that make you feel? How has that felt to you in the past? Hurtful, awful. What else do we have? What other words do we have here? Sad. Absolutely. Brother Dumbo.
I'm gonna jump in, but go ahead and finish this section before I jump in.
Okay.
Cut you off while you're finishing it.
Finish this word, finish discipline or the whole section?
Finish the whatever word with the word that you
Okay,
want.
cool. So that belief in self, so that feels like that lack of trust made me question me, right? That's how it felt when somebody else didn't believe in us. No one has been with us more than we've been with ourselves. No one knows us better than we know ourselves. No one has a bigger motive for our success than we have for ourselves. And if we don't believe in us, now what does that do to your psyche? Take whatever word you put there and multiply it by 100. That's what happens to your spirit when you don't believe in you. Why don't you believe in you? Whose story have you bought? Because when you were 2, you could do anything. When you were 3, you could, can you sing? Yep. Can you dance? Yep. Can you jump and touch the ceiling? Yep. Watch me try, right? Like that was, you could do anything in your brain. You were set for it. You were set for it. So that belief in yourself is imperative to a good relationship with you, or you will live with imposter syndrome. You'll question yourself all the time. Brother Dunbar?
Oh, good stuff. So before we move into the next life KRA, I wanted to jump back onto vision and tie this in for those, because we talk a lot about affirmations, and I want to tie that in. Vision is a good time to bring that up because I want you guys to focus on vision, visualizing what you want and speaking it into existence and all of those things, because those will tie in, right? That law of attraction. So let's lock this in with procrastination. To say that you want to be a specific place in life, visualize this thing, and to get in the mirror and say, I am, I will, I have, right? Whatever affirmation statement that you're making, but not have a goal set to physically and tangibly move forward on that particular thing is a form of procrastination. Can we be clear on that? So let me tell you what I mean by that. I visualize this, and this is me in real life. My 50th birthday, I'm buying myself a Porsche. Vision, 50th birthday, been doing a lot of work, been working for years, self-employed for years, getting a Porsche for my 50th birthday. Visualize. affirmation, right? I will be driving a Porsche at 50, like different things like that. Everything surrounding that Porsche affirmation, everybody understands that. That's all well and good. But if I do not have a goal set where I am actively working on getting that Porsche at 50, that's considered procrastination. And it is a delusional type of procrastination, where I'm telling myself that I'm going to have a Porsche on my 50th birthday, but I haven't gone to a Porsche dealership. I haven't went to the Porsche website and laid out how I want the Porsche to look. I have not found out what the down payment is supposed to be, and I'm not saving that money. I did not check and see whether or not my credit qualifies me to get a Porsche. I did not find out what it costs us to service a Porsche and do certain things that's going to need to be done to that Porsche. So I have not tangibly taken any steps in a direction because I have not written it out as a goal. So because I have not written this out as a goal, I have not taken any goal steps, which means I am delusional, because on my 50th birthday, I will not have a Porsche if I have not done those things. Because there's not going to be one in front of my house. There's not going to be one in a dealership with a red bow on it. Not if I have not taken those steps. So I have just fooled myself for the last 3 or 4 years by telling myself I was going to have a car. And then when Coach Brand says, so what's going on with this Porsche? Your birthday next week. And then now here comes the excuses. Does that make sense? And I saw Coach Branch put in there, not honest, which is pulling from another part of that life KRA that's making this not. So this is why procrastination ties into this, because you procrastinated because you did what? You told yourself that you have already achieved something that you're not even working on, which now puts you in a position to procrastinate, because I never have to have these things really, because I keep saying I'm going to. Right? So I turn this back over to Coach Branch.
Brother, you hit it right on the head. So many people, and we got to be careful. I got to be careful. We got to check this stuff all the time. None of these bad habits are gone forever. You can't kill them. Just make them smaller, and you got to consciously keep them small, or they will grow on you and you don't even realize that you're doing this old stuff again. It is so easy. It is so easy. And so many people want to look like they're doing something as opposed to actually be doing something. They want to look like, yeah, I'm going for the Porsche and I'm doing this, but they ain't actually going for the Porsche. They're not trying to do it. They're saying it, but they're not doing those steps. And if they're honest, they know that. That's why that honesty is so super important. And we want to make sure we don't fall into that trap. I had to stop talking about all the things I was doing. I realized for me, the more I talked about what I'm working on in my mind, I convinced my unconscious that I had already done it. Yeah, I'm getting this done. I'm knocking this out. It's going to be done. Getting it done, knocking it out. I talked about it so much, it felt like I was working on it because I was talking about it all the time. So I lost my urgency to get it done because I felt like I was doing it, but I wasn't doing it. I was just talking about it a lot. So, and I talk, right? I share things. I had to reel that in. Like, nope, I don't even get to talk about it with more than this one person until I'm already done with it or I'm at the tail end of it. Does that make sense? So let's go into the next one, discipline. Discipline, right? When you're talking about measuring the relationship with yourself, are you able to resist the urges that will not be helpful towards your goal? Discipline is about restraining from doing something or actively doing something that it ain't necessarily pleasurable to do, right? I'm going to stop myself from doing something I may enjoy right now, or I'm going to force myself to do something I'm probably not going to enjoy right now, but it's not what I would naturally do right in this moment. It's not necessarily what I want to do. Can I push through that and be disciplined and make the thing happen? When you exercise discipline, you let yourself know that you're worth the effort. When we think about relationships, right? When we think about relationships, one of the things that you often hear someone says about a relationship is, I just wanted to know I was worth the effort. No, I'm not. It's not going to be super. I want to know that I'm worth it, that I'm worth the work, that I'm worth the effort. But are you worth the effort to yourself? Why would anyone else work hard for you when you're not willing to work hard for you? To make the tough decisions so that you can have what you deserve. And when you exercise discipline, you feel so good. And while I'm going through this, make sure, go through these KRIAs and rank yourself on a scale from 1 to 10. Rank yourself on a scale from 1 to 10, right? As far as 10 being, you feel like you nail this thing, you knock it down every time. 1 being like, woo, I have missed this. I haven't even thought about this. I think I have been screwing this up. Like, I think I just did this 3 minutes before we got on the call. I messed this one up 3 minutes before I got on the call, right? That's the 1. So make sure to go through and rank yourself real fast, right? But that discipline teaches you how to honor yourself. Discipline is a form of honor. Discipline also shows other people how to treat you. And being disciplined makes you, it creates a level of pride because you did something tough. You did something that the average person wouldn't have done. You wanted to have the chips, but you chose the yogurt. Man, most people don't make that decision. And you would enjoy the chips more, but you feel better. It's one thing about enjoying something and feeling better. You can enjoy something that's terrible for you. You can enjoy it, but it don't make you feel good. Do we understand that difference between enjoying it and actually feeling good from it? Right? How many of you have ever done some stuff you shouldn't have done? Put me, if you've ever done some stuff that you know wasn't good for you, wasn't good for you, but you enjoyed it. And while you were doing it, you was like, this is not good, but it tastes so good. This is not good, but it's so much fun. This is not good, right? You knew it wasn't good. So there's a difference. And let's start to enjoy the things that are good for us. All of that shift only comes with discipline. Every religion, every major leader you have ever followed, discipline was a major piece of that puzzle. Fasting is a test in discipline. A regimen is a test in discipline. And all of this feeds into not procrastinating. You feel like you are on your game. You're getting it done. All right. And then self-care. Are you loving you? Are you loving you? Are you working on you? Are you honoring yourself? Are you loving on yourself? Are you giving yourself what's needed in terms of space, attention, time, thought, relationships, joys that can consistently remind you that this journey is worth it? And so are you. Life can be difficult. Life can be challenging. We have to remind ourselves that it's worth the journey. We have to remind ourselves it's worth the process. So when you're stressed, what do you do for you? When's the last time you took yourself out to a good meal? You took yourself out to a good meal. Not your kids, not your spouse, not your friend. You know what? I'm out and about. I'm finna go and sit and eat over here at a good restaurant, right? When's the last time you went and got the manicure, the pedicure? What are the things you really, really enjoy that you haven't done in a while? And it brings you happiness. That's that self-care, or else you will burn out and you will forget why you're doing the thing. You'll just be stuck in the rat race. You're on a hamster wheel with no destination, nowhere to go, because it doesn't feel worth it anymore. That's how you remind yourself. You got to have those little joys, and you got to take care of you. Pay attention to your bandwidth, all these things. Trust me, if you're not doing the self-care, you'll have no intrinsic motivation to do the thing on time. You're not motivated. So you drag your feet. When you drag your feet, you do it late. You do it late. What I would like to do just for a quick couple minutes, if it's all right with you, Coach Dunbar, I would I would like for everyone to hop in a room with one other person, and through the personal KRAs, I want you to share the one you feel like you're best at, and then share the one you feel like you struggle with the most. Like, I'm really good with I feel like I'm solid with the self-awareness, and nobody's a 10, because we can't measure ourselves as a 10, right? I feel like I'm pretty good with the self-awareness, but man, being honest with myself about these relationships and the people I need to walk away from and what I need to do, I really need to work on that. That's not nearly as strong as I would like for it to be, right? So why don't you go ahead and share the KRAs you feel like you're best at, and then the ones you feel like you're struggling. You know, that's your biggest challenge. The one you feel most confident in that list, and the one you feel like is your biggest challenge, okay? And that's with your self-KRAs. And I think when you go over, you won't be able to see the shared screen. So I imagine you all know what those self-KRAs are. Do you? Yes? No? Yes? Okay. All right. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and put you in the breakout room. All right. We'll just take a couple minutes to do it too. Okay. There you go. Go ahead and hop in your room. There we go. You know how sometimes you train it and it just feels good?
Mm-hmm.
Today feels good.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, it feels good. And it helps when people are engaged. It helps when the cameras are on. It helps when you can see them being engaged. It helps when they're putting things in the chat because it resonates with them, what you're saying. No, this has been a good a really good session. And this is a great thing about always having 2 every week, because it gives me a chance to go into both of them and clip stuff. And what I'm starting to realize now, and I probably should have said this to you, what I'm realizing now is I started to wear the same thing on both days. So when I clip from both, it looks like it's one video. Hey man, you live and you learn, right? I was like, maybe I should put the same shirt and the same hat on. That way when I clip from both and I merge them together, it's like one set.
But look, the light will be different because we're using natural light, and it's the morning versus the evening, and
yeah,
it'll be all right.
I'm hoping they'll notice all that stuff.
Say again?
I said I'm hoping they'll notice all that stuff, because it's definitely a difference in the lighting. Because like now I'm using natural light. I don't have no lighting on at all, but natural light. Tuesday night I definitely use light in the office. I'm gonna mention something to them too about the I'm gonna pull back up your old sheet that you did on the priority listing, because you mentioned self-care, and on that sheet for self-care, one of the first things it shows is health. And I want to tie that into self-care.
No, once we bring them in, I'm done. I'm just turning it over to you.
Gotcha. And that way they'll see that if they're not doing that self-care, that makes everything else come tumbling down. And we all know that that's really the case.
You can't even maintain.
Right.
You can't. Yeah. That self-care is so crucial.
Yeah.
Which includes saying no.
Yes, absolutely.
I got so good at that, then I got really bad at it. I'm trying to get good at it again. My no muscle is weak right now.
I think I'm too good at that on some things. I think I say
I say no all the time.
I think I gotta practice not saying no so much.
Man, we're talking about the self-care portion and the power of saying no. Being able to say no. And we talked about that before, but it's something I'm working on. It is something I'm working on.
You gotta stop. Sometimes you gotta not say no so much.
Oh, I get all the faces.
I almost said no to an anniversary dinner. No, I had time to go to dinner tonight. It's our anniversary. No, don't cause a problem. Oh, wait a minute. No, not no to that, but no to that.
Right. I'm sorry, that's my reflex is no. All right. Hope
Yeah,
y'all
all
have-
people, what's up with that? So should we do a breakout room in the beginning? Since we came back and saw all of these faces, it was like we sent everybody to go make sure they was good and then come back or something.
It was like alphabet soup at first. You know what it feel like? Forget Branch and Dunbar. Oh, it's me and you? Oh, okay. Click.
Wow.
Everybody looks nice. It ain't, you know, whatever. All right. I hope y'all have a good breakout room. And this portion, you know what I'm saying, has been powerful. I do encourage you to put these up on the wall, especially with the personal ones, the life KRAs, right? Put your business KRAs in your office. Put your life KRAs somewhere where you can see it as well, so you can measure. You have some type of instrument to measure how are you doing with you. How are you doing with your own relationship? If you see it, at times you'll look at it and be like, all right, I'm slacking on the self-care. Okay, get it together. Get it together. All right. I'm not being honest with myself. I know he ain't gonna change. You know what I mean? You know, whatever, right? And so do that. I think that could really be helpful for your growth and for your movement and to get things out of your path so it doesn't contribute to your procrastination and essentially to your goals. Brother Dunbar, turning it over to you, my friend.
Oh, real quickly on self-care, right? Because I know that that's so important to all of us, right? So I think Coach Branch kind of ended on self-care, and I'm gonna pull something up here, and this is something that you guys already have. And the sheets that we've been going over today, there's more sheets in that pack. I did email you guys all the sheets. All y'all saw today was one of those sheets, but the email did go out with all of them. So there are more sheets in that pack. So just check your email and check your spam, because you know that is probably your email. Just so y'all know. I'm gonna pull the sheet up for you real quick, just so you all can take a look at this. So if you look at the second paragraph, right, it says, for example, if health is number 2 on your priority list and your health is neglected, then number 3, parenting, and number 4, business will suffer as a result. Let me read that again. If health is number 2 on your priority list and your health is neglected, then number 3, parenting, and number 4, business will suffer as a result. So I show that to you because self-care is so very important. And this ties into procrastination because on your own time, in between this week and next week, start writing down, right? Between this week and next week, start writing down when you don't feel like doing something that you are supposed to be doing. And I don't care whether it's life or business. I don't care whether it's going to the gym, whether it's spending time with the loved one, whether it's doing the work the IPA work that you need to grow your business or promoting your job or whatever you've got going on. Ask yourself when you don't feel like doing it, is it because you haven't taken care of yourself? Is it because you're tired, right? Is it because you're not in the right mind frame because there's some things bothering because you're not taking care of certain things? Self-care will cause you, not neglecting your self-care will cause you to procrastinate because you don't feel like doing things because you have not taken care of yourself. Exercising gives you energy, right? Eating healthy gives you energy. Getting the proper rest gives you energy, allows you to heal. Going to get that manicure or pedicure. I know we think that manicures and pedicures are about having pretty nails or clean nails or saying, hey, I got my nails done. But think about it seriously, because I get manicures and pedicures myself on a regular basis. I get pedicures not as often, but I get manicures about every 3 weeks. You guys know when you come out of there, don't you feel better? Not just to cut off, but don't you feel better because you took care of yourself? Manicures and pedicures are a health thing. We have changed the narrative to it being nice looking hands and hands and feet, but really it's a health thing. That's why it's always trippy to me when a girl was like, "Oh, you get manicures." I'm like, "You do know manicures is a health thing." It's not. That's not about being metrosexual or gay or straight or any of those things. That's a health thing. You should be getting your nails done, right? So these are all things that make us feel good. When you start eating better, yes, you can lose weight by eating better, but you feel better when you wake up. If you intermittent fast, you feel better when you get up. If you stop eating for hours before you go to sleep, you feel better when you wake up. So if any of you all been overweight before, it's nothing like going down to bin to pick something up and getting up too fast and seeing the twinkly things. You don't see those no more when you get yourself in shape. When you get healthy, the twinkly things leave when you get up fast, right? Especially when you get, I don't know how old you are. I'm 47. But, when I got my 40s, things started changing just without, it wasn't no warning. It was just like, wait, what happened there? So when you get your health together and you do your self-care, it really does help with all the other things, because now I feel like making those calls. I feel like going to the gym. I feel like having that conversation that I've been procrastinating on, right? I feel like doing all the things that I didn't feel like it because I got the proper rest, because I'm eating healthy, because I'm exercising properly, and because I'm taking care of the business that I should be taking care of that has to do with me, the business that has to do with me. And that includes having conversations with people that I'm avoiding. That's self-care, right? So last thing before I turn it back to Coach Branch to 1204, feedback. We sent the feedback form. I sent it out 3 times. Some of y'all haven't given us any feedback. So I'm gonna give y'all a reminder. The feedback form that I sent out, although it's asking you for your email address, it is an anonymous feedback form. So when y'all fill out the feedback, and I know some of you all, because I know y'all already, and I know y'all gonna be honest regardless. Y'all don't care how we feel. I already know that. But for those who have not gotten to the point where they can just
Melissa, Jim.
Huh?
I said Melissa, Jim. They're gonna hit us with that.
Octavia, that's one too. If we saying something we gotta be saying.
I can have the room, this whole room. This goes from New York.
So the reason why it's anonymous is that when you fill this out, the feedback form out, when it comes back to us, it doesn't come back like Octavia's, Naive's, Peggy's doesn't come back to us as your form. The company takes all of your answers and puts them on an Excel spreadsheet in a category. So each answer has its own category and it tells us how many of those same responses we got. Does that make sense? So we will not know what you said. All we know is where we need to get better. Is that fair? And it's important to get it done if you can. If you can get it done this weekend, that'd be great, because we're gonna have an exit one as well. So we wanna have some time in between the one that you guys are doing now about midpoint versus the one at the end, because it helps us as we're moving on to the next book, which is, what's the next book? Atomic Habits. So we're gonna be talking about, changing your habits a little bit, getting rid of your bad habits, strengthening your good habits and all those things. But in between, we want to get better. And remember, after the last week, we're on week 5 right now. After week 8, which is the last week, that 9th week is not really a 9th week. It's a week in between books that we call deep dive download. So on that 9th week, we're going to be discussing how you guys benefited from the Stop Procrastination 8-week course that we did. And we're going to do that after every book, 8 weeks on that book. And then that 9th week is going to basically be us downloading, calling the deep dive download. But we're going to be doing nothing but all having a conversation about what we got off the book. Is that fair? Gives us a break in between each book. And then it helps us with the feedback so that we get better and better. So with that being said, Coach Branch.
That's it. That's all. No, I appreciate it. I hope everybody felt like today was beneficial. That's always important to me every time that we get together, that we feel like it's beneficial. And I want you to write in the chat on the way out, if you felt like I felt when Coach Dunbar was talking, like, man, quit telling me what I need to hear. You ever had that annoyance with me or Coach Dunbar while we were talking, like, I've been trying to avoid this for a reason. I guess I gotta do it now because now I gotta work out. Thanks. Appreciate it. Right? So we appreciate you all. We hope you all have a wonderful Saturday. Are there any questions or comments before we close out for the day?
Miss
Oh,
Harvey.
All
I
right.
have some.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Me,
Yes.
if you don't mind, may I share something? It's almost like a testimony, and I know we're already over time. I'm getting emotional. Coach Dunbar, he's been my guy for a long time. He's a business coach. I go to him. I don't know what I would do without him in business. But today, I know you don't have your doctorate yet, but Dr. Branch, you weren't teaching today. It's like you were ministering to us today. Everything in my soul, everything within me, I felt it and I received it. The last week or two has been like the rug has been pulled from up under me. And you see me going up in the air, legs up, and just as I landed, the wind was knocked out of me. Life. So much I had to deal with. If it had not been for the training, for the sessions that I've learned in this short period of time, I would have given up. And what I did, I went back to all of this, and that self-care was one of them that helped me, realizing that I am my own priority. And I had to go through and prioritize my list. And I'm going to be honest, with everything, I have so much going on. I am called Octavia Octopus. That's how busy I am. I have put deep dive, okay, this is going to be at the bottom of my priority list because all these other things I have to get done. No, after last week, deep dive is at the top of my priority. I cannot miss my reading. I cannot miss my classes, my courses, being with other members, because if it had not been what I have received and learned during these few weeks, I would have given up. I would have given up my business. And I really felt like just walking out, not even packing a bag and just going somewhere. But if it had not been for Coach Dunbar, Dr. Branch, I know. I don't know. And I don't know how you feel about your course, about deep dive, but please don't give up, continue. I know next time it's going to be full. You're going to have triple, the members in these sessions. So I just wanted to share that with you. I mean, life kicked my butt. I had a driver that we were calling, couldn't find him, and he was reported his brain dead. His, no oxygen. And we're like, how do you handle this? You have a driver over the road. What do you do? Well, thank God, God is good. Once they put him off the ventilator, he started breathing on his own after a couple of days. That's a walking miracle testimony. And 2 trucks broke down. That means no money coming in, but all of us going, it was just a lot. So thank you all so much for this. Thank everyone else for being here when we do our breakouts, when we share. Melissa, it was so good being in that room. I even said, I hope it's Melissa this time. It was so good. And but that's all I wanted to say. I can keep going on and on because it's not just learning. It's like life changing. It's life saving, actually. So thank you all so much.
Oh my God. You just
Wow.
I was gonna say you made my day, you made my mom.
Yeah.
You really did. Because that is the goal.
Thanks for the relief. I know you feel better. Whoa.
Yes, I do.
Great.
Thank you.
And that's bigger than what you guys think, because I work with Octavia and she is never that transparent. And she's never emotional. Like she just never is. Not that she's not an emotional person, but she's a businesswoman. She's like an independent power type woman. She doesn't like do that. One-on-one with me, she don't do that. And she just did that in a group full of people. So that's way bigger than some of your guys even hearing that, because it's not just her saying it, it's her saying it in front of an audience of people like that. She just doesn't do that. So thank you, Octavia. Appreciate it.
Save my life. Save my life.
Thank you. Thank you. You just confirmed that it was a good idea to do life and business together and to start this. And for him and I to work together. So thank you. Like you have no idea. I appreciate it. And we're gonna put some extra on it. Now, you didn't motivate me some more. Go on, give me some more. Get out my gas tank. Give me some more hope for this, you know? No,
So you see what's happening now, right?
thank you all. But also family, she had a transformational moment because she allowed it to be transformational. She used it, she engaged it. She needed something to get her through, and she went back and pulled from it. She had some solution and she went back to it. I invite you all to do the same thing. These lessons, these are real. And when you can you use it? Can you use all the things you believe, all the things you tell everybody? Can you engage it when you need it the most? When I was going down to surgery and I didn't know if I was going to walk out that hospital, I said to myself, if you go to surgery with a bad attitude, you could die from a hangnail. I want the surgeons to do their job, so I'm gonna do my job and get my attitude right, try to implement everything I teach. Are you implementing everything that you are talking about, that you brag about, that you engage with, engaging in those moments like Octavia did? And you'll get even more transformational experiences. Octavia, you was the best part of this whole session. Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We could argue about this later, Octavia. Argue later about no. Get out of here. You guys are great. Please enjoy your Saturday and your weekend. Be safe. For some of you, we'll see you on Tuesday. For the rest of you, we'll see you next Saturday.